What is the difference between prospecting and lead generation for your MSP business? How are you guys? My name is Harrison Barron from growth-generators.com, and that's what we're going to be covering today. Your lead generation versus your prospecting, and ultimately, not only what are the differences between the two, but what you need to do in each scenario, because they both work vastly differently. I'm going to be sharing my screen, going through exactly the big differences between them and what might be right for your business, especially depending on where you are at. So before I get into today's video, I do have to cover a couple quick things. Number one, masterclass, as always, down below. Number two, a super cool video is coming probably next week. It is going to be all of the stuff in the giveaway, where there is a link down below, and it is all the tools a salesperson needs. You definitely want to go check that one out. If you are watching this years in advance, there will be another link down there for future giveaways when those do happen. So that's it. That's all I got for you today. Now, let's get into the main differences, because most people hear lead generation and prospecting, and for whatever reason, people think they're the same thing. And that could not be further from the truth. There's a massive difference between both of them. Now, I'm going to cover a little bit about lead generation, a little bit about prospecting, and then the activities that you can do for both, going through and figuring out what will work for you, because everybody is different. What I might like to do is going to be different than what you like to do. So this should give you massive, massive clarity on the activities that you can do to have direct responses in putting money in your hand. And what I mean by direct responses, I mean finding where those clients are and how they're going to enter into your business and how you're going to be able to onboard them. So right off the bat, lead generation. The lead generation is basically, the goal is to bring people from the outside into your business. And there's going to be a bunch of things following that. But think of lead generation as attracting. There's a ton of ways to do it, which I will be covering in this. But for the most part, you're casting this giant net, as big as you can get it, to bring in as many potential leads. And then you leverage your system to help you filter out those leads to turn them into sales. And I'm going to cover what's actually involved and how those people can actually get into your system. On the flip side of things, we have prospecting. Now, prospecting is fantastic. Think of yourself as a sniper, and you go out, you just want to be able to aim and get your exact client. I've already talked about the buyer persona, which is very important to this, and going through the buyer persona activities. If you haven't seen that video, go to the video just before this, or there's a link down below to a buyer persona video. But knowing exactly who you're going to be going out and targeting, and knowing that they're going to be a fantastic, fantastic person for your business. It's very accurate. You're going to know exactly who to target, how to target them, and how to get in front of those people. And ultimately, you want to focus on not only your perfect person, but a specific industry, and start to build more and more and more market share in those spaces. So that's going to be the main difference. One is more of an attraction, and the other one is you going out, really having a great target of who you want to do business with, and then following a sales process to bring them in. Now, neither one of them is better than the other. I know that might be controversial, but once again, what I like to do might be very different than what you like to do. You might say, hey, I don't like sales. I really want nothing to do with sales. Lead generation might be the best thing for you, because you're going to bring in all of these people, versus prospecting, where you might have to do a little bit more of a grind, but you're going to potentially see sales faster, and they're going to be larger deals. So there is some massive benefit to both of them. It just really depends on who you are and what you like. So I'm going to give you some quick examples of content marketing, and then we're going to, or not content marketing, lead generation strategies. One of them is content marketing. I took some notes here, and we're going to dive into my computer so I can show you the process that somebody should go through towards the end of this video. That way you can have the best possible ROI on your money or your time at the end of all of this. So I already said it, but for lead generation, one of the best things to do, in my opinion, is going to be content marketing. Now, content marketing doesn't have to just be YouTube. There's TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, social media platforms. There is podcasts out there. Not only that, but there's plenty of other ways to make content. You can be a guest on other people's shows. You can be a guest on other people's YouTubes. You could even go out and find local groups on meetup.com and be a presenter there. That is part of your content. Content marketing does work. It takes a little bit longer to move that needle, but once again, you're attracting tons and tons of people. To give you a very real world example, what you're watching right now is content marketing. I am literally making content for you in the hopes that some of you who are great fits for me will become clients. And if you're not, that's okay. You're still getting free information that is the best on the internet. That's what content marketing is. You go out and you make that content, let that content actually go to work for you. So that way over time, you can build in and get more and more and more leads. Now, I've already touched on it, but social media marketing is huge. There are tons of different formats to make content between blogging and all of that. One of the easiest ways right now, especially depending on where you are, what industry you want to get involved in, is social media. TikTok has exploded, and that's currently the biggest growing platform. That doesn't mean there's not going to be another bigger growing platform down the road. And there's other social media platforms out there that are less commonly used that you might find your perfect client on. You can make content or go on social media on LinkedIn. There might be something that is slowly brewing to become a bigger app than TikTok, and it just hasn't gotten to that tipping point yet. So leveraging social media, and it doesn't, maybe you're like, hey, TikTok's not for me, but if there's a better platform down the road, I'd like to use that. That's perfectly acceptable. And last but not least, as a third kind of bonus tip for what to do for your lead generation, is search engine optimization. It is creating your website and making your website look like a juicy steak to Google by showing it that you write great content, who you want to target, all the beautiful information that people can see and come in and get from you. It's just a way that when somebody's searching local IT companies for manufacturing businesses in Gastonia, North Carolina, or Charlotte, North Carolina, you come up first. It is a bit more work, but the nice part is you didn't have to leave the house. You don't have to have that uncomfortable conversation on the phone. You don't have to read from a script for a cold call. None of these things have to happen. It's attracting your ideal client. It just takes longer, and it's not for everyone. Now, I'm going to cover a little bit of prospecting here because prospecting is really important. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to actually give you a little tease of what your content marketing should look like. So you have lead generation, right? And we're going to talk about what gets people in here. But your lead generation is ultimately going to go to a marketing funnel. That marketing funnel is all of your marketing. Now, I'm not going to build this whole thing out. I may make a swipe file in the future of every single thing you need to do, maybe like a mega sheet. If you're interested, let me know in the comments down below. But going through a marketing funnel, they're going to get this email, they're going to get this email, they're going to get this email, and they're going to get this email. And one or two of those might have a very specific call to action. This is then going to allow people to do the thing that you want them to do. You want them to go through your emails, and then they are going to book the appointment. There's none of you getting on there and saying, hey, do you want to book an appointment for next Tuesday at 9:30 in the morning? Like, that's gone. You let them do the hard work for you. That's the beauty of it. They do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. They book the appointment. You then go out, go to the meeting, you build your proposal, you deliver that proposal, and you close the deal like the sales assassin you are. You're still going to have to do a bit of a sale, but at the benefit is they're going to do a lot of that self-filtering out, whether or not they are a good prospect or not. They're going to go through that marketing funnel. They're going to get all your emails, and then they get to pick whether or not they want to book the appointment. Now, how do they get in? I've already covered it, but blogs, mailers are another slept on one. As things have gotten crazy in the world and the pandemic has officially ended, kind of, for some people, mailers are great. More people are getting back in the office. What was a dying science of sending physical mail, and the one time I actually don't have physical mail on my desk, is now coming to fruition more than it probably ever has in the past, because it died down. Rates are cheap to get mailers out, telling people who you are, what you do, and who you target. But we have ads, another great way to get people into the system. And I've talked about like a full-blown marketing funnel, and then social media as well. But this is how people become leads. They're going to go through your system. They're going to go through your marketing funnels. They're going to get your emails, ultimately book an appointment, build that proposal, deliver that proposal in person, preferably, and then closing that deal. That's the main difference between lead generation and prospecting. And now prospecting, we're going to dive into right now. Now, prospecting, most people hate it, but cold calling and cold emailing it works. It just works. Cold emailing is the fastest way, I will die on this throne, to get somebody from not knowing who you are to closing a deal. There's a big gap between those two, but when you do go through that process of saying, hey, I'm going to cold call these people, it puts you significantly, and I mean significantly, further out ahead of the pack than the rest of the people, because most people don't want to make cold calls. They either don't want to make them, they don't want to have the time. If you have the time and you're okay with making them, it is a gold mine for you to start building your business. Now, the second thing is going to be networking and referrals. Now, we've already spoken a lot about networking at your local chamber of commerce, but a lot of people don't think about asking for referrals. You're going to get in front of people, whether it's at a networking group or on the phone or an email. Just because they don't want to do business with you doesn't mean they don't have friends that might not want to do business with you. When you're cold calling somebody, as opposed to lead generation, they already have an interest, and because they already have an interest, they're going through your marketing funnel. But in prospecting, they might not be ready to move forward today. That doesn't mean they're not going to be ready to move forward in 6 months from now. So as time goes on, you might realize, hey, now's not the right time. Or even if I wanted to move today, my contract is 6 months out from ending with my current MSP. I'd love to reconsider you guys. Let's talk again in 5 months from now. And that might sound like a forever 5 months. Throw it on the calendar. Reach out to them once a month. Hey, it's Harrison. Just want to see how you guys are doing. Not trying to be a bother. If I'm a pain in the butt, I apologize. I'll send you a cup of coffee if I'm driving you crazy. But I'd love to earn your business. And if you're really that unhappy with your current MSP, don't worry about it. I'll take care of everything for you after you sign up with us. Perfect. There are so many ways you can network in person at your local chamber of commerce, at a local BNI group, a LaTip group, another professional networking organization. But it doesn't have to stop there. There's so many other places. LinkedIn is a fantastic place to network. Most people, we're going to lift up a fake rock here, but don't even look under the hood of Facebook. There are so many good leads and Facebook groups and people on Facebook, because it is still the biggest social media platform out there, that you can go find. Everyone, and I mean everyone, is in a local Facebook group. They are in, whether it's buy, sell, trade for your local area, to the local moms group or the local dads group or the local town group. There's an unlimited number of Facebook groups out there that you can then use and to leverage and target and network and build business. It is just the best, and it could be an instant return on your time, energy, and effort using those platforms. I'm going to be teaching a LinkedIn prospecting course in the very near future. So definitely, if you've made it this far in the video, I hope you've hit that like button, that little subscribe button, and that little notification bell. But networking referrals are gold. Asking people, hey, do you know 3 or 4 or 5 people that would be perfect fits for my business? Even if you aren't, that's okay. Trust me. It's fine to have that happen. When you cold call somebody, they are not sitting there waiting to say, I can't wait to give this next person who calls me money. They would never have a business. Keep that in mind. Third, last but not least, is social selling. Now, social selling could be just what I said. Between social media, it could be bumping into people you know. The 3-foot rule. You're riding an elevator up to your networking group. Somebody happens to be on that elevator. It could be your perfect client. But social selling is huge. You can share, you can build things, you can research things, you can call people and ask them if they want to be interviewed. Social selling is a gold mine for prospecting, especially to figure out who might be a good fit for you. So let's jump into my computer here and I'm going to show you the main differences between the two. So I've hidden the other column here and we're going to dive into prospecting. Now, when you've actually gotten a prospect, this is what the future is going to look like. They're going to go through a sales funnel, which is very different than your marketing funnel. Your marketing funnel is going to be more flashy. It's going to be more, hey, this is what we do. This is some tools that we have. Your sales funnel is specifically getting to the pain points that are going to move the needle. That's it. Your goal is to get them from a you know about them all the way through to a deal as fast as possible. So you're going to cold call that person, right? You may have that person, right? This is your sales funnel. You're going to cold call that person. You're going to book an appointment with them. After you book that appointment, you're going to build that proposal, deliver that proposal, and close that deal. Now, you might be thinking, Harrison, there's a lot of similarities between these two. At the end of the day, you have to ask somebody, hey, would you like to do business together? You have to send them a proposal with a definitive, yes, they'd like to do business, or no, they wouldn't like to do business. Because if you don't get one of those two answers, a maybe might as well be the shadow realm. It is the worst place ever because, hey, Harrison, could you help me move my house later today? I'm kind of counting on it. Yeah, maybe. That person doesn't know if I'm coming over or not coming over to help them. And I'm just using a very vague example. But a maybe is the worst because if I just said no, that person now knows they need to go get somebody else. But if I said yes, now they can count on me. It's the same principle. Hey, do you think we could do business together? Maybe. Maybe what? Maybe is as useful as not even talking to you anymore. You can't do life on a maybe. Hey, I'm having a party. Do you think you can make it? Maybe. I got to see how things play out. That's a different story. But if somebody is counting on you to help them with their business or you to pay your bills, you need to know if it's a yes or no. Can you put a nail in that coffin and call it a day? Or is it going to be a yes, you're smiling to the bank as you go collect your check? There are only two options that should be coming out of a proposal. Sorry, I get a little crazy about that, but not everybody knows. You have to ask for that sale. On both cases, between lead generation and prospecting, you still have to ask for that sale. You still have to go build that proposal. You're still going to have to go to your appointment. You're still going to have to deliver that proposal, and you're still going to have to close the deal. But here's the main difference. You do the hard work in prospecting. And I know that sounds crazy, but there's two different kinds of hard work. You can do the social media hard work, taking out your cell phone, making the content, building and designing the mailers, which usually cost money, ads, which also usually cost money, or spend the time, if you don't have the money, writing blogs on your website, attracting Google to make it look like a juicy steak. But that could take hours and hours and hours. When you do the hard work in prospecting, not only are you going to be able to figure out who you want to do business with, but now you have laser focus on your target market. And when you have that, you can pick up this secret weapon and call them and say, hey, my name is Harrison from XYZ company. I would love to sit down with you and talk about your IT solutions. I'm a weirdo. Do you have 2 minutes for me to tell you why I'm calling? And let it be. There are so many ways that you can go about it. Your prospecting is a very active thing that you're going to be doing. Think of it like running. Think of it like one of your favorite activities. If it becomes a favorite activity, the money will be nearly endless. Lead generation is fantastic, but I can tell you now with certainty, it is a slower growth period. If you're at the point where you're like, hey, I'm going to start an MSP, we're touching the end of 2023, maybe end of 2024, middle of 2025, lead generation, blogging, and all that is fantastic. If you have the time now, especially if you have a job and you're like, I'm pretty comfortable, start building the content now so it can work for you for a year. But if you don't have a job and you're like, this is my only business, my only source of income, you got to get down to the hard work and start prospecting. I'm coming up with a calendar. That way you guys can see, or a weekly sales kind of cheat sheet of what you can do, when's a good time to do it, so you can have the best results possible. Stay tuned for that in the near future. So I hope you guys have found value in this video. If you have, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, little notification bell. I really appreciate it. And if you haven't checked out the buyer persona or the masterclass or the giveaway, all those links are down in the description down below. Other than that, I love the heck out of you guys. Always appreciate you guys checking out the videos, and I'll see you guys. Oh, and if you have a video idea, leave a comment, or there's a little link that says like submit a video idea. That would be greatly appreciated. I have a bunch of ideas coming up and topics that I'd like to cover, but every once in a while you guys want to see a video I haven't made yet, please, please, please let me know. Other than that, love you guys. I'll see you guys later.